Hey y'all, I'm Lex and welcome to our YouTube channel. Now I know I say our and there's literally nobody else in the room with me, but that's because this is a joint YouTube channel run by me and my best friend Viv. We're both on a journey to lose some weight, but in this video it is just going to be a little old me telling you about my individual plans and struggles. Now, to start this thing off, I'm going to go over some of the aspects of my health that have kind of affected my weight loss, but not really because obviously, not all weight gain is due to just my health problems. But the health problems that kind of did affect my weight gain and weight loss over the years, and just take a look at how those affect me and how I'm going to deal with them through the journey. So the first one is I have Hashimoto's thyroiditis. I was diagnosed with it when I was 8 years old. If you don't know what the heck that is, which you probably don't, it's a type of hypothyroidism. So hypothyroidism means that my thyroid is like, don't want to work, okay? When I was little, so Hashimoto's is the autoimmune form of hypothyroidism. So there's like two different ways you can get it. I got it through autoimmune, which means my own body sat there and had the audacity to sabotage me. So it killed my thyroid on its own because I guess it thought it was like some foreign invader trying to kill me. So it killed it first. Well, you obviously need your thyroid to live. So I started gaining a lot of weight and being really lethargic. And my parents were like, yo, she's 8 years old. Like, she shouldn't be this tired. So they took me to the doctor, and turns out I have a thyroid problem, right? So they put me on Synthroid, which is the normal medication that they use to treat hypothyroidism, and I've been taking that since I was 8 years old, and I'm 25 now, in case you've been wondering how long I've been on this stuff. So I'm already kind of starting this thing off with like kind of a block in my way, right, with the hypothyroidism, but I cannot like use that as my excuse as to why I'm like fat or why I gained weight or kept it on, right? Because my diet has not been that great. So, I've been all over the place. I've had the college diet where you eat like Little Caesars pizza every day and nacho cheese, right? That's a true story. We literally ate Little Caesars and whole cans of nacho cheese in college. I'm talking about Viv and I. And then I also had the times when I was like on really big health kicks and like doing really well. So, I've been up and down with my nutrition, which is probably the main cause of my weight gain and keeping that weight on and not being able to lose it, right? I can't blame it all on my body. Like, I have to take some accountability. And so what I did was I started thinking about it, and I started thinking about how my nutrition was affecting my health and how I could fix some of my symptoms that I was experiencing from Hashimoto's, because even though I'm being treated with the Synthroid, what a lot of people don't know is that you can still be experiencing symptoms from hypothyroidism, especially the Hashimoto's variety, even when your numbers are right. So I was still experiencing extreme fatigue. Even if my diet was like not the best, I still shouldn't have been that tired in my 20s, right? I'm 25. Like I should have some energy, right? But I would literally get 8 hours of sleep and wake up tired. And so I knew, something is wrong. I need to treat this, but I can use nutrition as a tool to help treat these symptoms. And so that's when the big bright idea popped into my head of like, girl, go see a nutritionist. Like, you need professional help. But I think part of the reason that I didn't before that is also because I thought that it would cost a lot of money to see a nutritionist, because when you think in your head like of a specialist, right? I'd seen specialists as a child for hypothyroidism. It's expensive, like you have this big copay and you might have these other fees when you're seeing them. And I was like, okay, well, I'm probably not going to be able to afford it. But I like pushed myself and I was like, no, you need to look into it. So I looked into it on my insurance, and I found out that it's covered, like, completely. I don't have to pay a copay. I don't have to pay anything else. Like, it's completely covered. It's considered preventative care, right? So the insurance company's like, girl, if you go see a nutritionist and they help you not develop type 2 diabetes in the future so that we have to put you on medication, then yeah, we're going to pay for it, because it's more expensive if I pay for that medication than it is to just pay your little thing to go see the nutritionist. after the first time that I had met with the nutritionist, she decided to give me a cortisol test to see where my stress hormone was at, right? So, cortisol is your stress response hormone in your body. So, you can have different cortisol levels due to all sorts of things. Stress obviously causes it to go up. Intense exercise can cause it to go up, but it should go right back down pretty much after intense exercise if your cortisol levels are normal. So, I took the test. It's like a saliva test. You have to spit in a tube, kind of like the DNA ones, like 23andMe and Ancestry, where you spit in that tube. It's kind of just like that, except you do it at different parts of the day, and then you send it in, and they analyze each sample, and you write the time that you took it out on there, and then they send you your results back. So the second time I go to see her, and my cortisol results are in, and we take a look at it. Well, they were like all over the place. Like, I wake up and like it's like in weird big jumps and all this, and then in the evening it shot up like past the chart, like off the chart. And that day I remember specifically, like it was like a lazy day, like a Sunday. Like, I was cleaning, I didn't exercise that day, I didn't run that evening. It was just a normal day for me. I thought it was pretty chill, right? But when we looked at my cortisol, it was like, dang, girl, like, are you stressed? And in my mind, like, I wasn't feeling stressed. Like, I didn't feel any anxiety about anything or anything going on in my life. Like, I wasn't like overwhelmed or anxious that I felt like. But what was happening was, so I had been running in the evenings, right? And I had been pushing myself all the way to exhaustion, and my cortisol was spiking in the evening. So I think like my body had kind of trained itself to spike my cortisol in the evening. But the problem is, after my intense workout, right, which wasn't even that intense, my cortisol did not come back down. So I was also having trouble sleeping. And when I told her that, she was like, well, here's the results. Like, the proof is in the pudding. It's right there on the paper. Like, your cortisol is up here in the evening and it stays up here. And so while I'm trying to like go to sleep, my cortisol is just like coursing through my body, and my body is having this big stress response. So I can't sleep. So I'm getting bad sleep. So I'm waking up tired, and then I'm repeating the cycle by running in the evening and pushing my body to its max and spiking the cortisol. So then we decided, all right, you definitely need to, take back with the running, maybe just start walking and then doing some yoga so that you can keep up with those muscles, do a little resistance exercise, right? So I started doing yoga, and within like the first week of me starting yoga, I could like feel the difference. Like, I was getting a workout, I was feeling more flexible, I was feeling more strong, I was building like muscle, but I wasn't exhausted after a workout. And when I went to sleep at night, like, I could actually sleep, right? I could fall asleep normally, and I woke up feeling more rested. So the yoga is doing really well for me, and so I have kept going with it, even though my schedule has been a little up and down lately. Like, my plan is to do it 5 times a week, and for the last few weeks, I've kind of gotten off with it. So I'm sitting in the yoga room with the light on. Normally I don't have the light on. I just have the salt lamp light on when I do yoga. But I decided, I think, to film this. I'm kind of struggling today. I'm kind of glad I'm filming, though. Hopefully I look back on this and I laugh. But I got home from school and after school band rehearsal, and I'm just kind of tired. And I don't want to do this. And it's been, God, I don't know, like 3 weeks since the last time I practiced yoga. And this is supposed to be my exercise, and I've been kind of using excuses, like, since I've been staying after school with band and stuff, as my excuse to not do yoga, but I really need to. And I'm just afraid that when I go back to the nutritionist in a couple weeks, she's going to tell me that I've lost muscle mass again. The last time I went to her, I lost a couple pounds of muscle mass and fat. But, and she was kind of confused by that too. She was like, normally I see fat gain and muscle loss, but anyway, so I don't know. I don't know what my body's doing, but last time I was consistently doing yoga when that change occurred when I lost muscle mass. So I don't know what happened then, but hopefully it's just my new normal. That's what we kind of talked about. She said maybe it would be just my new normal, and I would be keeping that muscle mass now. I'm just afraid that I'm going to go back and she's going to say I lost more. And of course, I mean, I haven't been, exercising like I should be. So hopefully I can get through this session and I'm going to film it. And maybe that's a little bit of motivation for me to film it. I'm glad I'm filming it from the beginning though. I just started getting like the beginnings of plow, which I was really proud of a few weeks ago. So I'm not nearly where I want to be in my practice or my strength or anything like that. So I'm glad at least I'm like catching the beginnings of my journey, which is kind of the point of us documenting it, to get ourselves in the beginning so that we can see the entire journey, not just the end result. It's about the process and the struggle to get there. And that's what, inspires me about other people's stories, is seeing the whole journey. And so hopefully, if anybody else is watching, like, it inspires you to see me struggle in the beginning. And then hopefully, towards the end, we see some results. And that's what I'm going for. I really think that this time the change is going to stick. And I'm 2 months in, and I don't see myself changing anytime soon. So we're going to do this.
Three-legged dog. Keep your toes pointed. Exhale, low lunge. Stick your foot between your palms. Crescent lunge to the mat. Exhale, down dog. Core. As you inhale, sweep the arms out overhead. Stretch them long by your ears.
Ow. Go away. So here are my current inches, my starting weight, my current weight, and how much I've lost on the journey so far. So these inches might be kind of confusing, but they go with my current weight. So I forgot to measure inches at the very beginning of our weight loss journey, unfortunately. So I have no idea what my inches were when I weighed at the 221.7 pound mark, but I did weigh and measure myself recently. So I'm going to start with these inches and my current weight, but my heaviest weight was about 2.5 months ago. So for my right and left arm, somehow I measured evenly at 14.5 inches. We're going to blame it on Viv if it's wrong, because she's the one that helped me measure. But no, they should be accurate because we measured a few times. My right and left thigh were both 29.5 inches. Around my chest was 42.5 inches. My waist is 38 even. My hips were 49.5 inches, and my stomach, like right around the belly button area, is 45 inches. So that is my current inches at my current weight of 202 pounds. My starting weight was 221.7 pounds. And the funny thing is that was actually from the second time that I had visited the nutritionist, because when the first time I actually weighed 219, I think, and then I gained a few pounds the second time because I was not on track yet. I hadn't forced myself to actually start working for it. So then after the second time is when I actually started to see the weight loss. So the journey has been probably going on for about 2.5 months, but I'm calling it 2 because that's when I really remember starting to take it seriously. But since then, there's been a 19.7 pound loss. So I have lost almost 20 pounds since the very beginning of our journey. And here's my before photos in all of their glory. I just wanted to insert these in the first video so that we have a place to start, right? So this is my body as of right now at my current weight of 202 pounds. And then as we do those monthly updates, I will insert new pictures and then I'll compare them to the original in those as well. I started kind of diving into different foods that may be making my problems worse, right? So along with the hypothyroidism, I'm also anemic, okay? which could be helped with supplement, right? A diet. I mean, well, a diet and a good supplement, a good diet and a good supplement. But I also have eczema, which is kind of part of that autoimmune little bubble. Okay, they kind of go together sometimes. And then along with the fatigue, I had like a few other like really minor little problems that I was like, you know what? I can probably fix this by eliminating some of the foods in my diet. So I started thinking about it and I was like, I can probably remove some of these foods and then maybe like reintroduce them and see if they negatively affect me. So I started doing all this research and I came across the AIP diet, which is an autoimmune protocol diet, which I did not dive all the way into, okay? Because it really takes like all the food groups and like back down to the very basics and then you start reintroducing. Well, I kind of had an idea of the foods that were affecting me that that I would eat and I would have a negative reaction to. So I took those bad boys out, brought it back to the basics, and then I started, for a few weeks I just ate like what I thought, wasn't affecting me. And if I wasn't feeling any negative effects, I'm going to keep with these foods for a few weeks. Then I would introduce a food that I thought would negatively affect me. So say dairy. I took dairy out because that's a big allergen for a lot of people, right? A lot of people are lactose intolerant. So I took dairy out and then I reintroduced it. Well, when I reintroduced it, it negatively affected me. So if you look in all the symptoms of a lactose intolerant person, that's what I experienced when I ate dairy again. So it definitely wasn't a good time for me. And I didn't just do that once. Like I tried my theory a few times. Like I would eat it and I'm like, okay, it negatively affected me this time, but it could have been something else. Let me try it again. So then I would eat well again without the dairy, and then I would eat it again, and lo and behold, the same thing would occur. So I was like, all right, I know I got dairy. Okay. The other thing that I took out was gluten because all my research had said, like, in a lot of people with autoimmune diseases, gluten was a problem. So I was like, all right, let's just take it out. Either way, it's not gonna hurt me. Like, if I take the gluten out and I'm not eating it, it's not gonna hurt me either way. Like, I don't really need the bread, and and if it's not really affecting me, why not? So I took it out, okay, and then along that, another symptom that I didn't mention so far is that I also have really bad acid reflux, like heartburn. Okay, so I had this heartburn from before, and I took gluten out, I took all those other things out, and my heartburn stopped while I was eating clean for a while. Well, one day, after I had not been eating it for like maybe a month, okay, I ate a piece of cake. And look, the heartburn that I got from that piece of cake was like some of the worst heartburn that I've ever gotten. Lasted through the night into the morning. Had to take something to take care of it. Okay. So then I was like, okay, it's got to be the bread. It's got to be the gluten, right? So again, I didn't eat gluten for a while and then I ate it again and I had really bad heartburn and really bad digestive problems. So I was like, okay, I'm figuring out the things that are negatively affecting me that I can take out my diet and my symptoms will go away, right? So my eczema miraculously started to clear up too when I cleaned up my diet. And I was like, all right, so my diet is definitely linked to my body's like immune response, right? My eczema is going away, which means it's also probably benefiting my thyroid to not have my immune system on high alert all the time because it already doesn't like the thyroid, right? So I took out those foods and I made myself like a plan before I even saw the nutritionist. Not necessarily a diet plan because like I'm paying like, well, my insurance is paying her, right? To give me that advice, but just like a plan of what I didn't want to eat. So when I walked in her office, I was like, look, I've kind of already figured out the things that are negatively affecting me. And so I want us to kind of mold my diet plan around that. And so she set a plan for me. And essentially, it's kind of like the diabetic diet. Like she's just like aim for less than 30 grams of carbs per meal. And then, non-starchy vegetables and high quality meats. And then the grains. And of course, grains that don't contain gluten for me. So that's what I did. I just stuck to that plan. She gave me that and she gave me my caloric intake, which currently is about 1,500 calories a day. Sometimes I'm a little over, just depending on the day. And that also kind of depends on our meals, which I'll explain like my diet plan in a minute and how I'm like prepping those meals and things. But, my calories stay within and hover within that 1,500 calorie range. And then of course I'm eating the meat, the non-starchy vegetables, and no gluten or dairy in my diet. So I'm now on that nutrition plan. Viv and I actually started to eat HelloFresh as a part of like meal prep because I have done meal prep before and I love, having a meal ready. And so what we did was we were like, you know what, we really like HelloFresh. It's really convenient. Let me go ahead and just like do HelloFresh and make it like my meal prep. So what we do is we go on the app, we look up the meals that fit within our diet. So everything without dairy and without gluten. And if it doesn't have those two things, I'll eat it. So, different kinds of chicken. It'll have potato or rice on the side, and then it'll have a vegetable, a non-starchy vegetable. And that's pretty much kind of how every meal with the HelloFresh works. But it's really delicious, and they come in different flavors and shapes and sizes, right? And different types of meat. So in the morning, I'll just eat like 2 eggs. That's like my breakfast every day. And I can cook the eggs in different styles, and I really love eggs. So I figured out something that I really loved, and I incorporated it into something easy that I could quickly make for breakfast, right? Because I like eating breakfast and I am hungry in the morning. However, I'm also like running out the door. So I need something that's quick and easy that I can either peel a boiled egg and eat it, or fry 2 eggs in a pan really quickly and eat them, and then go off to work. And then in the morning, I also drink a cup of peppermint tea. Caffeine is also something that negatively affects me. It affects my kidneys and my bladder. Like as soon as I drink a caffeinated beverage, I regret it because I'm in pain the next day. So I also avoid caffeine, but I do drink peppermint tea that's uncaffeinated in the morning, and that kind of just gives me like a little wake up. It's something nice to drink in the morning, and the peppermint is kind of like, energizing. Like when you smell peppermint, it like wakes you up, right? So that's what I drink in the morning, and I eat 2 eggs. So my breakfast doesn't contain any carbs, really. It's just protein from 2 eggs. And then for lunch, what we do is we cook HelloFresh every night, right? And we got the box that feeds 4 people. So we eat 2 of the meals that night, and then we pack up the other 2 meals that it would make, and we eat it for lunch the next day. So then I already have lunch prepared the next day. I take that to school, I eat it, and then we cook another HelloFresh at night. Then on the weekends, we kind of look through the past HelloFresh recipes we've gotten, see where I'm going here, and then we buy the ingredients at the store and just cook those over the weekend. Because the weekend is kind of flexible for us, not in like that we're completely going off of the plan and like eating whatever we want. It's just that, my family might want to go to a restaurant that night. And so I'll go to the restaurant and I'll order something that fits within my diet plan and my caloric intake, and I'll eat that for dinner, but it's not a HelloFresh meal. So we don't order it all the way through the week. That way we're not wasting food, and we can be a little more flexible on the weekends with our nutrition. Well, hopefully you've made it this far into the video. I know this one's kind of a lot of talking and just explaining, and the next one, it'll also be a little talking, but it should be me and Viv together. We plan to see the nutritionist a couple weeks from now. So our next video is going to be our results from that visit. We'll talk a little bit about the visit and maybe some things that we talk about while we're there, just so we can kind of let you in on that secret if you've never seen a nutritionist before. And then we will also insert our weight loss results from there. Probably won't be a ton of weight loss from now because it's only in 2 weeks. It's not really healthy, to lose that much weight from now and then. But that'll kind of be the start video for our official weigh-in, because what we plan to do is every time we see the nutritionist, it is our official monthly weigh-in, and then we'll post a video with the results in inches and weight loss after that. So hopefully I'll see you in the next one, and thanks so much for watching. Psst. Hi there, you still watching? Well, if you are, just wanted to let you know that Viv is also going to be making a video like this with her individual journey and stuff in it. So thanks for being a loyal customer, and I'll see you in the next one.